I want you guys to hear this. I want to bring up the Stephen Vogt question with you coming up here in moments. Oh, we'll see where this goes here because this was a hot button issue yesterday. I want you guys to turn up your radio. I'm going to speak softly here so you can turn up your radio. I know I'm a loud person because Nick Chubb has released a statement on social media. His first time as I regret to tell you, a Houston Texan. You know that Nick is a man of few words, and he can be a bit soft-spoken. So turn up the radio and listen closely because it's only 4 seconds long. Here is his video, Nick Chubb on social media, now a Houston Texan.
What's up, H-Town? Nick Chubb here. Super excited to be here. Let's get to work.
Very loquacious now that he's with the Houston Texans, as I take that word away from Tone, as he brought it up during the break where he wanted to make a big thing about, now he wants to talk. Is that what you thought when you first saw the video?
Yeah, because I saw it all over social media with the Texans going crazy and their fan base. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm going to click on this video, and it's going to be the Nick Chubb that was never here, that refused to talk to anybody, refused to ever go at length on anything. No, the same Nick Chubb. Exact same.
Yep, that's who he is. What you see is what you get.
Maybe even less words yesterday. And this was the exciting press conference. This was the exciting, hey, I'm Tom. I'm with the social media team. I'm 2 years out of school. Nick, I just if you just want to riff and just talk about your excitement. And Nick's like, I will do one of these. And that is it.
What's up, H-Town? Nick Chubb here. Super excited to be here. Let's get to work.
Yeah, that's how he is. Yep, that is how he is, man.
If you take out where you're at and who he is, you don't get much left.
Super excited to be here. Let's get to work.
So he's here. There's the action, what he's going to be doing.
And he's going to get to work, and then that's it.
And that's it. And he will get to work. That is one thing you know about him. All right, I do want to know the Browns fans that they saw. I was surprised. I didn't think any Browns fans would do this. But because he wasn't technically a Cleveland Brown, he was a free agent. The one video he put out, and I'm like, man, he's looking good. No, football guy was analyzing the movements going, Nick Chubb looks kind of big. And
what, the one he was running up the hill a couple weeks ago? Yeah, things like that?
Yes.
Yeah, and he was shifting around and just doing, the footwork drills.
I didn't like the one that I was like, why would you include that in the highlight when he was like kind of stumbling over a bag? Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
he stepped on a bag.
Yeah.
I go, why would you show that?
It's Nick Chubb.
Don't think you want to show that the foot's fine.
That he's stepping on a bag?
Oh, you can step on bags now.
Okay. I will say this. I think it's ridiculous to go after the Browns fans who are really upset about this, guys. I think it's really ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous to go after the Browns on social media for, hey, they released a video with Nick, and that was nice, and that whole of Nick, and that was nice. But like, they need to address this. What are they going to address? He's not their player anymore, and it's social media. Andrew can address it. He addressed it with us when he said it's trending towards him not likely coming back. That was an interview right here on 92.3 The Fan. But I got to tell you, I draw umbrage with the fans who are going after the people who are upset. Guys, this is not – what's the track record of the Browns? Not very good. How can I say, well, they let a washed player go? How do I know that? Do I know that? What's their track record been of player evaluation? Not too terribly great. They've hit a couple, but the ones that they've really hit on, I don't know, Myles Garrett, Joe Thomas, now Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb was, again, somebody else's draft pick. You would look at some of these things and say Daffy Duck could draft some of those guys because it's easy. I mean, Denzel Ward's become a fantastic player, and he was number 4 overall pick, for crying out loud. Like, there's a lot of things there that would tell you that, hey, when it comes to player evaluation, they haven't really been the best here over the last 25 years. And when you only have a few certain guys that you can really be excited about because they back up everything of what they say, and Nick Chubb doesn't say much, he just lets his play do the talking, like, yeah, people are going to be upset. They are going to be very upset. So it's weird. Like, I have people online calling each other delusional. All Browns fans are looking at this guy. His best years are behind him. Browns fans are delusional. No, they have very, very little faith. They have as little faith as the people who are critical of the Browns do. And they know that he has been a great player, and they want to feel good about the team. And so, yeah, they're going to be upset. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how much Nick Chubb is really going to contribute to the Houston Texans. They already got running backs down there. He can end up putting 300 yards up, and that's it. That is it. And that could be his career. And so I'm not going to sit there and rip on Nick Chubb just to make myself feel better about a trade or about a releasing where he goes somewhere else because he's a free agent. I'm not going to do that. I wish him the best. I can understand in theory why the Browns would move on. I certainly can understand why Nick Chubb would move on from the Browns. And that is it. It's not about they moved on from a washed player and you guys need to get over it. No, they've moved on from players before that have ended up making them pay for it in some other way. Yes.
Yeah, what would you say? Would you say Joe Hayden?
Because I was getting Joe Hayden had a resurgence in Pittsburgh.
He did.
Alex Mack played in a Super Bowl with the Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry, was Odell Beckham Jr. not on his way to a Super Bowl MVP before he tore his ACL? And I don't want to even tell you what my text messages and threads were during that one.
So now you're worried if Deshaun Watson ends up on another team. I understand. So here's what I will say about
always finds a way
about Chubb. Like, even when I asked you the last few times we've been on the air, what is this year about? And I think there's, from all of us, a little bit of hemming and hawing, right? Yeah. I called it a rebuild, but then you astutely said, well, how is it a rebuild when you have all these older guys on a team? And I'm like, well, they are caught, right? They are caught. Yeah. And, you know.
And then fans saying we should be in on Jair Alexander. I'm going, well, that's not a rebuilding team.
Right. And he's another guy who can barely stay on the field.
Yeah.
So that's why a team is trying to win a Super Bowl is saying goodbye to him. So, you know, given this set of circumstances here, I think one thing we should all agree with about this year with the Browns is a big, and this is not going to be thrilling to a lot of people, but a big see what you have year with younger guys, right? Don't you want to see your draft class? Like, let's get them out there. Let's see what they can do and be able to evaluate that. Would Nick Chubb have gotten in the way of that?
I will have to say, how could he not?
He's going to take carries, right? And the fans are going to want to see him. The fans are going to, every day, why isn't Nick Chubb getting the football?
Well, because he's a legend here. And very rarely do we see a player where very few people want to believe that his best years are behind him, including myself. So if Quinshon Judkins goes out there and gets tackled for a loss or something like that and has a game where he turns in 2.9 yards a carry, in 43 yards, why isn't Nick Chubb carrying the ball? I mean, it's the same thing we did when Nick Chubb was in his prime. Why isn't he carrying the ball in the fourth quarter? Why are we limiting his carries so much? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Like, we wanted to give the ball to Nick Chubb every single down that we possibly could because he's the one guy we could count on. He's the one guy that you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt you can count on. And so there had to be a separation. I think if he's going to play for little money, what's it, $2.5 million? If he's going to play for little money, he wants to play for it. He wants to play for a contender. It's that simple. I don't know if he's a guy who just is going to play for money. Like some people are going, well, you could offer him $5 million. You could offer him $4.5 million with incentives. I think that he was done. I think in so many ways he was done. Again, I know without a shadow of a doubt, there were definitely decision makers, high ups in that organization that really, really, really wanted him back. But I can't make a guy sign if he doesn't want to sign or if he wants to test the market and really test the market for teams that he feels are going to be contenders. Because the only people who really feel that the Browns are going to be contenders are who? Who? I don't believe. Hey, I'm saying 7 wins and we're feeling good. And people go, 7 wins? Where do you find 7 wins on that schedule? Okay, well, where does Nick Chubb find 7 wins on this schedule? If he's going to play for $2.5 million, he's going to play for a team that he believes is going to have a surefire chance to make the playoffs or as good of a chance to make the playoffs as you're going to find. Houston's that team. Chicago believes that they're that team. I will not back down from that. They got a big mouth over there. They felt like they were going to make it. There it is. So in so many words, we can't say it is what it is because we're not supposed to do that. It is what it is. I feel that this will probably be Nick's last year in the NFL. I think he'll contribute to the Houston Texans as best he can. I'm not sure how much that is. So I don't want any nastiness to go down because I feel that after this season, I don't think the Houston Texans are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't pick them to win the Super Bowl. Do you? Do you feel that they're a favorite to win at all?
No.
They can win the AFC South. I think St. Ed's could probably win this AFC. I'm kidding there. They can win the AFC South and go to the playoffs, and we'll see what they do. But for Nick, I'm not going to start saying, you're washed, you're bad, you're what. I'm not going to do that. He contributed a great deal to the happiness of this fan base, to my personal happiness. He was always decent enough to work with, never a problem, never got mad at him, never had anything. He wasn't one of those guys where, fans like him and I sit there and I go, yeah, there's another side to him you don't know. Never with that. There's a lot of respect. I have a world of respect for Nick Chubb. He's a beloved player, and that's the way he's always going to be. And I ain't going to talk no trash about him out the door. I'm just going to hope that Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson can get the job done. And they're as good together as he is with the Houston Texans, or way better than he is with the Houston Texans.
Well,
so that doesn't haunt me every single Monday for the rest of my fall. 2-1